And welcome in. It's InGame Live Primetime on a wild, wonderful, wacky Wednesday. Yes, Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan for the next 2 glorious hours, hopefully winning some money with the boys in Vegas. And we got a couple of lines tonight, couple of games tonight that really are going to test our soul here on whether we go public or we go boys in Vegas. We got college basketball, obviously, with all these postseason tournaments continuing today. NBA, you have 4 games in the National Hockey League, and we'll have some fun. As we promised last week, we gave our 3-league championship parlay. Now we're going to have a 3-league NBA, NHL, college basketball championship parlay with teams that never win. But you know what? Maybe, just maybe, this year, lightning will strike, and not only one, but all 3 will win. We'll explain in about 40 minutes or so. So my partner in crime, Mr. Dave Sharapan. What's going on, Dave? Rocking a little Penn State. Can we get another big win? Last time they played, we were on the air, if memory serves me right. So they knocked off, who was it? It was someone pretty good, if memory serves me right.
Was it a home game? Remember, it was a home game against
Blackout game,
Illinois.
or the whiteout game.
Wasn't it against Illinois? They moved that Illinois game to Rec Hall, where I personally watched that basketball team play many, many games as a member of the A-10, and that was the first year, my last year of school, when they went to the Big Ten. So they brought it back, old school. They had a big run. The reaction was so great, we got a clip out of it. That was unbelievable. That was a big night. Remember, we were very excited. I was very excited. This is one of those times of the year where, like when I worked in the book, it was really hard to go in and not be biased. You want your team to just have that little bit of a magic run this week to get to next week. And there's not many times that Penn State gets a crack at Michigan as a 7-point favorite. In football, in basketball, in anything. I mean, we got them in wrestling, but that's a different story. So this is a big night. That'll be at 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern tip. Big Ten basketball tournament starts. Every tournament is going. If they're not done, they're playing today and tomorrow. It's a basketball palooza. But, I mean, we got black clouds. We got alternate universes. Somehow you got last night the Chicago Blackhawks to score the most goals they've scored in a game all season. I didn't even bring the raincoat today. I don't even know what to do.
Unbelievable. Yeah, unbelievable. You know, left here was 3-2. Wasn't happy, but, you know, we got a shot at 3-2.
Yeah.
I get to the train station, and, you know, I fiddle around. My train comes in about 20 minutes after the show ends, and the next score I see, 7-2 Blackhawks. I'm like, are you kidding me? And I'll tell you what, we had a little fun last night, right? We remember at the very end of the show, I said, let's have a little fun, and let's build a parlay. Florida Panthers down 2 goals, plus 830. Colorado Avalanche pick 'em, and we doubled down on Anaheim and said, let's throw Anaheim in there. It paid 66-1. Well, Florida comes back and wins. Colorado wins, and we all know about Anaheim and Chicago. So not only did that cost me the Black Cloud, like, big play, it also cost me a 66-1 ticket that I had for a couple of dollars.
Would have been an absolute monster to hit that one. That would have got you. Yeah. That would have got you probably on the radar with some people to do a tweet. I forgot about that on the way out. 4 goals by Florida in the third period was unbelievable. They beat the Stars. I got told I can't wear the Stars stuff on the TV anymore, so I put the North Star stuff away. I said we had that game won. We didn't.
We had it. The show should have went another hour.
Early.
Show goes another hour, we win, right? But, you know, once the show ends, we lose all control. So, can't blame you.
That was good. It was a good night. Short hockey card tonight. So we'll. I know you found a couple nuggets in there. And speaking of nuggets, they're playing Miami right now. You watching this game? You got an eye on this game?
I got 4 college games on right now. On my screen here.
Okay.
Little 4-pack.
All right.
But
26-15 early. 1 minute left in the first quarter. The Nuggets continue to roll every day. Wow. Every day. Yeah.
I mean, really, Dave. The last time I checked, I didn't see it last night. I think they take it down when the games are going on. But FanDuel last week offered 4-1, just over 4-1. I think it was like 410 or 420. I took it. I'll look here in a second. Denver versus Boston NBA Finals. And while you might be able to bet those teams individually each series and maybe end up getting better odds, but when everything is said and done, I mean, who's beating Denver in a best of 7? And who's really going to beat the Celtics in a best of 7? You know, I mean, Milwaukee, maybe. Anybody in the West really going to beat Denver? Nobody can stay healthy. You know, Kawhi Leonard left last night's game for the Clippers. Minnesota's, getting everybody all hurt or suspended or whatever. No cat. I mean, it's got to be Denver and Boston, right? I mean, that's a halfway decent price for two, to me, clear-cut favorites.
Well, I mean, we'll have Lindquist on a little bit later. He's a big Minnesota Timberwolves guy. Maybe he'll make a case for them. Look, they looked great once Kawhi went down. West Coast sports were dominating last night. I was watching the T-Wolves beat them. The Knights came back, improbable comeback against the Kraken. There was all that going on, and I kept saying, it's Nuggets. It's Nuggets in the West. It's Nuggets in the West. I don't know who's going to beat them, but I think it's going to be a little bit harder for them. There's only one team that can beat the Celtics, and it's the Milwaukee Bucks in the East. When you look at those odds, they scream at you. It's right there for you to see. I mean, the Knicks price keeps going up. The Cavs price keeps going up. The Heat got an opportunity tonight to maybe change some people's eyes, change some thoughts, but that's going up. And after that, Sixers, no. Pacers, down. Forget about it. So, I don't know. I think it's pretty easy. I mean, if you want to partake in it, you get Denver, Boston, Denver, Milwaukee, and sit back and relax, right? You kind of lock it up that way. I don't know. We can't even include them in the parlay either, the team that doesn't win, because Denver's won.
Right. The
Celtics have won in the past, and the Bucks won recently. So we can't use them in this parlay that we're coming up with later.
Yeah, right. We're going to have to test ourselves with the NBA. That's for sure. You know what's amazing about this Denver team, Dave, is if you just looked at their roster, you'd say, okay, pretty good team. But yeah, I wouldn't say, they're the best team in the NBA, which clearly they are. I mean, all right, you got the Joker, and you got pretty good Jamal Murray. But, there's a lot of teams that have the 1-2 punch, right? I mean, other than that, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Contavious Caldwell-Pope, Reggie Jackson, those are just like average everyday players.
You know what they are? Team guys. Team guys. It's all about the team.
Good head coach.
There's no me in team. It's all about the we. And they got a great coach. They all believe. They pass the ball. They play good defense. Think back at the Bird Celtics teams, right? It was Bird and McHale and a lot of good players. I mean, that's the first one that I remember. And the Lakers were just the same. I mean, they had Magic and they had Kareem, but they had Worthy and some other good players. But
they were.
Yeah, there was always one guy that everybody knew was the guy. There was a co-host, and then we just played basketball.
Yeah. The thought of having to have 3, you don't need it. Denver's done it with 2, believe it or not.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like
This
is the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to find a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But if we make them a third,
they get in.
This
is the Penn State rule.
Be better than the West half.
Yep.
And that 1 year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Kentucky on the road as a 7-8 point dog, beat Tennessee by 4. North Carolina as a 5.5 point underdog, beat Duke on the road.
I took Kentucky plus the points. I think you won it as well. I even said I wouldn't be shocked if they won it. I'm not shocked. They're just that good. It's can they be focused for 40 minutes, and they actually played, I guess you would call it somewhat defense.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
How about this? Nikola Jokic, heavy favorite here at a -170 price, followed by SGA at +250, and Luka Doncic at a 7-1 price.
It would require a whole lot from Luka to 15 of the next 20 games he has to have triple doubles, something absurd. And it really just comes down to Jokic being amazing, doing everything that he's doing. I hate to say it, but he's probably had this locked up the second Embiid was announced out.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the
All
rim.
I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart team.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live, prime time.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live, overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, prime time right here on the grid, 12 past the hour. Hour number one should be a fun-filled, hopefully money-making 2 hours right here on the grid. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan. So we touched on a little NBA here, Dave. So some of the games underway before we get to the ones that aren't underway yet. And then the little college basketball. I got Toronto and Detroit, 57-52, and Brooklyn, Orlando. Nets down 7 against the Magic, laying 7.5 at the half. Brooklyn plays like games in the 30s, or they play games like tonight. Same thing with Orlando, 61-54. Not two great games, but I'll throw it out there that they're on the board. You see the Nets on a nice little 5-0 overrun. Magic going the other way, though, 8-1 under. So any thoughts on either one of those two games?
These are inspired by our friend Cam Stewart, who I wish well and hope he's doing okay. These are dumpster dive games. These are games that only gamblers would find an interest in, right? Like we looked at the board this morning and I went, "Oh man, top two games on the board are Toronto and Detroit." And you go, okay. And then these great trends that you got going on, and we got these great graphics for. The Raptors are on an 8-1 overrun. Only in road games. Excellent. Pistons are 10-2 ATS versus Toronto. Saw that and said Pistons money line and under. That's what I looked at. That's what I liked. We'll see if we can get there with that. Brooklyn and Orlando, I don't even know. I don't know who's watching this. I don't know what to do with this. There's games sometimes that you just go, maybe not for me, but you have to figure Orlando to continue. I mean, they're winning at halftime. What is it, 61-54? Probably play Orlando now to finish this and close this out. If you're looking at it in game, if you need a play, that would be the play right here. I mean, the game closed 2:05, so we're on a 2:15.5 in-game pace. That tells me, there might be a run left in Brooklyn, but you know how these things go. We do this every night. They run, They get back, and then they don't close it.
Indiana and Chicago, right? This is the typical NBA sports betting world, right? The Pacers last night, Dave, 6.5 point favorite or underdogs rather at OKC. OKC's great at home, right? What happens? Indiana goes there, they get the win. Okay, now Indiana comes back home. This was on the road. And yet they're only a 4-point home favorite against the Chicago Bulls, who are, they do play better, the Bulls, on the road than they do at home. But you would think after being able to beat a real good, battling for the number one seed in the West OKC team, that Indiana should be a 6.5, 7 or so point home favorite against mediocre Chicago, right? And it's only 4. And right now we got a one-possession game. I mean, it would be just like the NBA for OKC to win last night and lose tonight, right?
For Indiana to beat OKC last night, and win tonight. Yeah, that would be par for the course. That's the NBA, the back-to-back, the 3 games in 4 nights, it starts to really take effect the last 20 games. It may not take effect as much early in the first 40, but in the back end of the season, especially after the All-Star break, I mean, both of these teams are going to be in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Chicago may have to go to play-in route, but Indiana's playing for a 6 spot or 5. They don't have to play in the play-in if they keep winning. So, yeah, you would think this is an easy laydown, and you take the Pacers. And listen, it might be time to take the Pacers right now if they're trailing. You get them at a really short number. I just hit refresh. It's 39-35. They're up 4 with 9 minutes to go in the second. So, yeah, just like that. I mean, the NBA is all about the runs. Pacers are on a 5-1 under run at home. Probably an under. Look, they just hit another 2 baskets. It's 43-35. I mean, you can't even keep up with it. If you're playing these things in game, you got to have one finger on the trigger ready to go and just push that button quickly.
Yeah. Half the time you try and get it in, and it gets kicked back anyway. And then gets kicked back again and again because it flips so quickly. It's like, give me,
one of the major.
Don't post a number then until it comes to a break, if that's how it's going to be.
It's one of the major hurdles that in-game wagering has had and is going to continue to have until this latency thing is figured out. We're seeing a different feed, both on the TV, on the stream, on the whatever you're watching it on. We're behind what the books have. The books have the fastest feed. They pay a ridiculous amount of money for these feeds. So they have to constantly change the number. That's fine. But you can't get a bet in. You almost have to anticipate, which is kind of what we do on the show, right? We kind of anticipate what the line will be and try to get it in before it gets to that line. Don't ever hit accept. That's one of the little secrets. Yeah. Just hit no, wait for the line to refresh, and then make your bet. Because if you hit accept, sometimes that line can change. I saw a tweet the other day. I won't name the book, but a guy bet it -4.5 and took a screenshot to show his friends. The game was final. It fell 5. He got graded 5.5 as a loss. If he didn't take a screenshot of it, he would have not got his money back. But as a one-time courtesy, this book paid him. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. But I saw it. It happened. It's true. Be very careful with the in-game stuff.
Yeah. I brought this up before. These books that post the scores, listen, I understand why, but when you're posting scores that aren't right, Dave, I've said this many times, there's going to be a guy that's betting hundreds, thousands, we'll just say thousands on his stuff, and he's going to say, well, wait a minute, you told me it was 3-2 midway through the third, when in reality it was 4-2 late in the third. I'm betting based on, and I know there's little exclusions on these sites to say, listen, don't worry about it. You can't, you got to find a score on your own. We're just posting numbers. But when you post numbers, I don't know, I really don't believe in a court of law that the books would win that case. If that guy said, you know what, I bet it based on the numbers you told me, and yeah, there may be a little exclusion somewhere on your website that has 5,000 pages, and I'm expected to read every single thing. No. But be careful. Just generally speaking, right, if the line looks wrong, it's probably wrong because the score is wrong, not the line is wrong.
Yeah, a lot of times. Or, I mean, you have to remember, a lot of this stuff is automated. They're not hiring the manpower to individually do this all the time, so a lot of this is automated. Computer's only as good as the input that you put in it. And, ideally you have a person doing it to make sure that it's right. Now, I know you're refereeing games at night. I didn't know you were going to law school at night, too, and getting that law degree for this court of law. There is no court of law for the sports book. Unfortunately, there's not. So you're on your own. You got to be very careful. I'm not saying that the book's always right, because they're definitely not. Customers aren't always right. You got to just pay attention to what you bet. And a good rule of thumb is, like here in Nevada, as a sports book, you had to have 2 sources, 2 verifiable sources for every score before you graded it. I would recommend, as a bettor, have 2 places to check the scores so you can constantly see where you're at. make sure it matches. And if it doesn't, maybe something's up with one site is stuck. They got a bug. They got a thing. They need to hit refresh. Sometimes like we do here, things happen. So, yeah, be aware of that. Speaking of being aware, is it time to bet the Grizzlies already? They're trailing the Hornets. I mean, is this a game?
I was going to say, who is Charlotte to be favored on the road over anybody, right? I mean, it's they got the fourth worst record in the NBA. I mean, really? And you're going to be a road favorite? I know Memphis stinks. I get that. But, so does Charlotte. So
right.
I would think, you get 4.5 now. It's up to 4.5. Why not, right? If you got to bet the game, and we all do, give me the Grizz getting to 4.5. I would even take them on the money line, to tell you the truth. I would grab a 142 on the money line.
Golden State, Dallas coming up. We'll have that at the beginning of the next segment. But I couldn't believe this number, and then I realized Steph's not playing. Could be big trouble for Golden State.
No Draymond either. Found out last hour.
All right.
So I still think they have a chance to win. I have no faith with the Dallas Mavericks. We'll talk about it on the other side. On them at home, I don't.
The Bostonian versus the book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like
This is
the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to find a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But if we make them a third,
they get in.
Third,
this is the Penn State rule.
Be better than the West half.
Yep.
That 1 year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the book.
Kentucky on the road as a 7-8 point dog, beat Tennessee by 4. North Carolina as a 5.5 point underdog, beat Duke on the road.
I took Kentucky plus the points. I think you on it as well. I even said I wouldn't be shocked if they won it. I'm not shocked. They're just that good. It's can they be focused for 40 minutes? And they actually played, I guess you would call it somewhat defense.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
How about this? Nikola Jokic, heavy favorite here to minus 170 price, followed by SGA at plus 250, and Luka Doncic at a 7-1 price.
It would require a whole lot from Luka to 15 of the next 20 games he has to have triple doubles, something absurd. And it really just comes down to Jokic being amazing, doing everything that he's doing. I hate to say it, but he's probably had this locked up the second Embiid was announced out.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the rim.
All I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart teams.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live. Primetime.
Back-to-back just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live. Overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
welcome back. In-game live, prime time, right here on the grid. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan, 25 past the hour. Look at a little NBA before we get to a couple of hockey games and college basketball, obviously. So let's continue along in the NBA with our SGP same-game parlay tonight. All right, we're going to go out west. Sacramento hosting the L.A. Lakers. We're going to grab a 6-leg parlay here that's going to pay 7.5 or so to 1, depending on where and when you do your shopping. We're going to grab Sacramento plus the 3. Why not? Against the L.A. Lakers. They're 7-1 straight up and against the spread last 8 games. They've beaten them 7 of 8. Why not bet them plus 3 at home? Line makes no sense in my book. Then we're going to grab LeBron James, 25 points or more. We've hit a lot of his unders this year, but has flipped since the All-Star break. In fact, since the All-Star game, LeBron has had 25 or more points in 8 of the 9 games that the Lakers have played. So he's going to get 25 tonight. You're only laying minus 140 on that. We'll go Domantas Sabonis, 10 rebounds or more, minus 10 to 1. Which sounds crazy, but he's had 10 rebounds. Get a load of this stat. In 21 straight games, he's had at least 10 rebounds. That is amazing. That's Wilt Chamberlain-like, for goodness sakes. We'll grab him getting 8 assists. He's had 8 assists in 5 of his last 6 games. Then we'll grab De'Aaron Fox with 2 threes, and then LeBron James with 2 threes as well. Add it all up. And like I said, they're at a 7.5, 8 to 1, depending on your latest numbers and where you do your shopping. Little same game parlay. What do you think, Dave?
I don't know. Like sometimes you hit me with these things 3, 4, 5. You went 6 deep on this one.
Yeah.
And I'm looking as you're talking, and I'm looking at the numbers, and I'm going, Wetzel got a lot of crazy theories. He throws out a lot of crazy bets with me on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. But this one I really like. I think you got a shot. I can't believe you went with the Sabonis rebounds prop, minus 1,300. Like, that's a little extra. There's more zeros in there. I don't know how much that's adding to it to make it 6. But uniformly, like sometimes when I was working in the book for years and I was writing tickets at the counter, guy would make a bet and I'm typing the game numbers and all this other stuff, not really paying attention. And it would come out. Then I would look at it and go, that one's a winner. I don't know which one's going to get you. I think if the Kings don't win the game or cover the 3, I think that's the one that's going to get you. These other ones,
yeah.
I mean, the other props, LeBron's going to have a big game, right? He has to.
Yeah.
Sabonis rebounds, that odds tell you that's coming in. The assist number for Sabonis, maybe. But Fox is hitting 2 threes, and so is LeBron. This looks pretty good, Wetzel. This looks pretty good.
This is one of those where I hope I can get all the others and then hedge against Sacramento, because I think you're right. I think the one, as much as I like the Kings, they would be sweeping the season series. Lakers have played a little better. Sacramento just beat them in L.A. last week. It's hard to win twice. That would be the one I'm most concerned with. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, the numbers, the Sabonis stuff, that's crazy, right? 21 straight games, Dave, of getting 10 rebounds or more. That used to be like the benchmark of, you had a great game. This guy's had 21 straight games. So, yeah, the Sacramento minus the 3, I think, would be the one I'm most scared about, believe it or not. But I do like them.
They beat them, I think, so it's 3-0 this season, 7-1 on their last 8. But the 2 of the 3 this season were on back-to-backs. Sacramento was on back-to-backs, which is the case tonight because Sacramento housed Milwaukee last night. So you got them. Right. Now, the computer's even confused. Look, our supercomputer here at SportsGrid, the Smart Moves, NBA prediction, LA by 1. That's a coin flip. We're getting 3. It's a good move. I'm glad you didn't do the money line because I know you were thinking about it.
Yeah.
You were because you wanted to make it pay more, but you did the right thing taking the points because that line is probably not going past 3. So you got the best number. You put in all these Sabonis and LeBron things. Now I got a reason to watch something other than the Colorado-Vancouver game because if I don't go to a basketball game, of which there are many tonight in Vegas, There's multiple tournaments, and they're all here. The Canucks and Avalanche is the primetime game tonight in the hockey. And, man, oh, man, I couldn't wait to get on here to talk to you about this later. What did you see when you looked at this game?
Colorado, right? I mean, anytime I can get Colorado, pick them. I mean, I know it's Vancouver, and I know they're playing well, but it's still, Colorado brings that cachet, right? So give me the Avalanche at even money. Not even pick them. Even odds to continue it rolling here. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I figured you'd be thinking that. That seems to be what
sucker though written all over, right?
That's what I'm saying. I guess this is one of those ones. If we're putting it up, we're putting up pick, and we made Vancouver favored, and now we got them all. We got everybody. I mean, how could you pass up Colorado? They look like the best team in the West. They may be in our parlay tonight. Team that wins but don't win, but they did win not too long ago. Yeah. I don't know. This one smells to me. When you go like that, take a deep breath. You go, I don't know. I think I can't wait to see what Vancouver does. The problem with it is the Smith is playing, is what I heard, not Demko. I get the Smith. That means over. A lot of goals. Yeah. A lot of goals tonight in Vancouver. Over.
I thought all the underdogs I thought were live today. I really did. Even Washington. And the Blues are leading 1-0. Nashville's up 2-0. And I got a feeling Washington's going to give Edmonton a game tonight. They've actually played some decent hockey. They're right there, Dave. Capitals are like only a few points away. Believe it or not, we keep on letting them, expecting them to kind of fall off, right? But they're a few wins away from getting that last playoff spot in the East.
Yeah, I know. I mean, there's not many teams that I just can't get behind, and I see that Ovechkin, and the Capitals and the Penguins have battled for decades. I mean, I go back to the Rod Langway days and the Mike Gardner days, and couldn't beat that team. Just couldn't beat them until we finally beat them. Frank Pietrangelo was the goalie's name. A backup had to come in because Barrasso could when they won a Game 7, and the rest is history. The Penguins ended up winning Stanley Cups. I don't get annoyed by too many teams, but the Washington Capitals, they still get me. I don't like it. You really think they can beat Edmonton tonight in a row? I thought you would come with the Edmonton in regulation play today.
No. You know why? Because Washington can shut you down, and I think Edmonton. You beat Edmonton, you got to shut them. You're not going to outscore Edmonton. You're not going to win 7-6 against Edmonton. You're going to lose 7-6, right?
Now we're talking.
But you will win 3-2. So I think Washington's the perfect recipe there. I do.
Okay.
So
all right.
Yeah.
I like what
they're only like 5 or 6 out
in here. Yeah. I know. Don't remind me. The Penguins are going south, further. There's not going to be any playoff hockey in Pittsburgh. I've been telling people for a month, told them to bet them to not make the playoffs when it was plus money. Told them I went on all those shows in Pittsburgh with guys I know. I said, listen, I don't mean to play the heel, but the Penguins are not making the playoffs, and it's coming to fruition. So somehow they're catching strays right now with you talking about the Capitals. I'm getting emotional. I'm getting excited. Penn State's coming up against Michigan. Things are happening here on InGame Live Primetime. You're getting me riled up. I like this. This is good. This is how we live. This is how we breathe. This is great.
All right, we got college basketball. Where we're going to go tonight. I did like Texas, and they're a close game against Kansas State, laying 2.5, still down 1. I'm a little surprised with that one. I'm going to take a flyer, believe it or not, on DePaul plus 24.5.
No, you're not.
I'm
your friend.
Who's Villanova to be blowing out anybody?
Friends.
They got to play tomorrow.
Are we friends? Seriously.
Yes,
we're friends, right? We're friends.
Yes.
I mean, we started the S&W Corporation and all this other stuff, the D and the S or the S and the W. I can't remember. Listen to me. Friends don't let friends bet DePaul, even in game. Don't do it. All right? Listen, we're friends. Don't do it. You're going to get aggravated. You're going to get agita. You got to ride the train home. Please just let it go. Wait until this game starts, okay? And then when they're down 10-2 or whatever it is, take 30. Take 30. Like you're going to get more. 24.5 is not enough. Not if we're friends. I can't let you do it. I can't let you do it.
All right. See, because my thinking is you got to have a reason to beat a team by 25 in one of these postseason tournaments, right? Because otherwise you're pulling all the players because you got to play not only tomorrow, but ideally, you're going to be playing 4 straight games here in the Big East tournament. So you call off the dogs when you're up 20, and then, DePaul loses by 21, 22, 18, 19, and you get the cover. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Listen, you just stopped me again, counselor. Yeah, that was a very good argument. I like to call Peralt counselor because he likes to play a lawyer sometimes on our show, Bostonian versus the book. You just made a very good counter argument. That was a very good, sound counter argument. Objection overruled. I can't let you do. I can't let you do it. I just can't.
All right, I'm gonna wait. I will wait because I like you thinking 10-2. If it's like 10-2, 10-4, it'll probably go up a couple points, right? I don't know if
30 and a half.
But
buy it at 30. Buy it at 30.
Is that our goal? See, I'm thinking DePaul and the over, and then we get 2 free bets.
Over.
If you take them right now,
the system.
If DePaul scores 56 points, then the game's got to go over.
You should have been a math professor. Is what you should have been.
2 free majors. 2 free bets. Our parlay is coming up next.
The Bostonian versus the book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like this is the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to find a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But if we make them a third,
they get in.
This
is the Penn State rule.
Be better than the West half.
Yep.
That 1 year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the book.
Kentucky on the road as a 7-8 dog, beat Tennessee by 4. North Carolina as a 5.5 point underdog, beat Duke on the road.
I took Kentucky plus the points. I think you won it as well. I even said I wouldn't be shocked if they won it. I'm not shocked. They're just that good. It's can they be focused for 40 minutes? And they actually played, I guess you would call it somewhat defense.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
How about this? Nikola Jokic, heavy favorite here at a -170 price, followed by SGA at plus 250, and Luka Doncic at a 7-1 price.
It would require a whole lot from Luka to 15 of the next 20 games he has to have triple doubles, something absurd. And it really just comes down to Jokic being amazing, doing everything that he's doing. I hate to say it, but he's probably had this locked up the second Embiid was announced out.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats and fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the rim.
All I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart team.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live. Primetime.
Back-to-back just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live. Overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
welcome back. In-game live, primetime, right here on the grid. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan. So last week, we put together our 3-league parlay, and that is NBA, NHL, college basketball championship parlay. We used 3 teams in each league, and hopefully one of the three will come out, and if so, we hit all 3, obviously. And depending on which one it was, it paid anywhere from 400 to 800 to 1. Believe it or not, it doesn't take much to pump these odds up. And we are going to hit one of these. So now maybe we don't. So I said to Dave, it's well worth the investment to maybe, listen, we've had COVID, we've had craziness happen, right? We've had 16 beat number ones and everything else. So why don't we put together another 3-league championship parlay with teams that just never win, even though they're really good. So we're going to do that tonight, Dave. We'll start in hockey. To me, the most obvious one we got to put in there, even though I really don't think it's going to happen, the Toronto Maple Leafs, right? I mean, every single year they're expected to win. They hope to win. They think they can win, and they just never win. So we got to use Toronto as one of our 3.
Yeah.
Where are you going next?
Listen, I was thinking about this, and we could go Toronto, okay? But we could also go with the Rangers, right? In this spot.
It's been a while.
Right? Because it's been a long time. I specifically remember the 1940 chance for a long, long time, and then the Messier year, and they beat Vancouver. It might be the year they could win, but they just never do. Like Toronto's almost too easy. I feel like. Plus, I don't want to besmirch all of our Canadian viewers and our friends up north. Like we could pick any of the Canadian teams, right? When's the last time a Canadian team won? We could pick Edmonton. We could pick Vancouver. We could pick Toronto, Winnipeg. Throw them in there. Like I feel like we could just take anyone on the list and put them in there. So I don't know. I think it's between the Rangers and the Maple Leafs.
Well, if we use 3 in each league, that comes out to 27 different combinations. So Is 27 too many? You want to cut it to 2? You put even $10. I mean, think about that. If you put $10 on it, so it'll cost you $270. But if you win, you're going to win about $5,000. And in fact, you'll probably win about $8,000 because these are all going to be more than likely higher numbers. So,
of course. And it gives you opportunity later. Listen, this is a spring dream, okay? Hope springs eternal for baseball teams, as we come up on spring training and everybody's talking about this. This is a spring sport thing. We're doing hockey, we're doing NBA, and we're doing a college basketball tournament, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll have this done by the June NBA Finals. Now, all we need is to get there. If you got 2
then you can hedge.
Then we can do whatever we want. I mean, we could talk about going on vacation. I mean, I don't even know. It might just be me and you meeting somewhere. I don't know if we got to bring the whole families and everything, but we'll have enough money if the kids want to come to bring them too. Maybe we'll go to the NBA Finals or go to a beach somewhere. I don't know. Either way, 3 teams in each. Okay, so who did we use in the hockey on the good one? On the ones we could think.
We used
Colorado,
Dallas, and Florida.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And Florida.
Okay. So Colorado, Dallas, and Florida. 2 West, 1 East. So now we got to use 2 East, 1 West. How about that?
There you go. That makes sense.
Okay. 2 East, 1 West. Let's go Rangers. Let's go Maple Leafs because that fits the bill, right? They never win. They never seem to win. And then the West, we got to go kind of chalky. It got to be Edmonton. No? Or do you want to go lower on the list? Right? That's it.
No.
That's it.
Yeah. That would be the one. Yeah. I mean, unless you wanted to do a 3rd team and throw Carolina in there because they always seem to lose. But they did win, relatively recently.
They won in 2006. Yeah, they beat the Oilers. I was at Game 3 in Edmonton. I flew up from Vegas. Took 2 days off. It was one of the last trips where I told the wife, "Listen, I got to go watch a hockey game. I'm going away for 2.5 days." It was worth it. I saw Game 3 in Northlands Coliseum. I was like a little kid. It was unbelievable. That would be amazing if that would be the finals again. And we would have it covered in case Edmonton actually got it done. So we don't have Vegas involved in any of this. We can't involve Vegas now.
No. Yeah, it's too late now. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because they just won last year. So we would kind of be hypocritical if we did it. Yeah, we can't use Vegas.
Right.
So there's your 3.
All right. College basketball.
Okay.
Automatically, you got to start with Gonzaga, right? Now, I don't know are the Zags capable of winning it all? I mean, I guess they kind of are, but they never ever. They're an automatic. You got to put them in there.
Oh, boy.
I know where you're going to go next, but I'm going to put the Zags in there. Where are you going?
Well, I mean, you say it every night when we do the shows when they play. I mean, it's painfully obvious. It's on that list right there. I'm going to let you say it because it brings a joy to me every time you do. Who is it?
Purdue. You love the Boilermakers.
Oh,
right?
No. I was thinking Dookie
No?
Pukies. No.
Oh, wow. No, they win. You can't say they. I mean, they do, but they've won too much. You can't put them on there.
It's been a while, Scott. It's been a while. It's been a while. Look it up. When's the last time Duke won? Coach K lived on the laurels, rested on the laurels for a long, long time. I think Duke can make the list. I think Duke's on the list. And obviously Purdue's on the list. Of course Purdue's on the list. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't even see. Oh, there's Gonzaga, 65-1.
Whoa.
I would say Rick Barnes in Tennessee. He always finds a way to lose. And I know people love him.
My 3 were right off of this list right here. You went deep. That was a deep, deep cut when you went Gonzaga. But they lost to St. Mary's last night. They can be beaten any night after what I saw. They do never win. And, boy, you throw a 65-1 in this group with these parlays, they're going to come looking for us. If Gonzaga gets to the Final Four, we're going to be getting cash-out offers that are more than our houses. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be more value. You can pay off the mortgage, both of us, East and West, if that happens. With a 65-1 in there, I mean, we're talking 7 figures this thing might pay. So I don't know. If you want to go that deep, I will. But I think Purdue has to be on the list. If you want to go Purdue, Tennessee, and Gonzaga, that's fine. Look up the last time Duke won. I think it's been a long time. They could go on that list. 2019, Matty G? That wasn't that long ago. I stand corrected. No. I don't think we could use Duke. Use Duke. All right.
As much as I'd love to put the black cloud on them,
That's what I'm saying. I've seen your work before.
That's the extra little bonus, putting Duke in there, putting the black cloud on them. You're right. And with Gonzaga losing, they're not going to be in the West Coast. They're going to ship them, east or somewhere. So
you think?
Realistically, yeah, I would think so.
We were talking about it today. If they drop to the 8 line and they keep them in the West, and Arizona closes out the Pac-12 tournament and gets the 1 in the West, can you imagine an Arizona Gonzaga? That would be an Elite 8 game in the past. That'd be a second round 1-8 matchup. Arizona don't want to play them there.
No. All right, your call. Tennessee.
I want
to
do Duke only because I want to hear you say Dookie Pukies and all this other stuff for a week if they get through the first round, and then in the second round we could actually be live to this thing. I think we got to involve the Dookie Pukies.
All right, we'll put them in there. We'll put Duke.
Right.
So Purdue, Tennessee, and Duke. That's good.
There you go.
That's good.
All right.
All right. Yay. This is where it's going to be a challenge. But let me throw this at you. As a Celtic fan, and Pat Foster, one of our producers, knows this as well. I know it's chalk, but they do lose every single freaking year. I mean, every year the Celtics find a way. I mean, you want to go back to Larry Bird, you want to go back to Paul Pierce, with Kevin Garnett. It's been a while, whether it was LeBron beating their ass or whoever. They kind of can be on this, they find a way to lose every year list.
Amen. Yes. I think they have to be. And again, we don't mean for Foster to catch strays or anybody else that's a Celtics fan or anything like that, but Wetzel speaks the truth. You get an amen from me or a hell yeah. Absolutely, the Celtics are on the list. One of the ones I think got to be on the list, it's a little bit of a high price, but it's got to be the Phoenix Suns. It's got to be the Phoenix Suns. I mean, I can't remember. They always seem to get there. They get to the Western Conference Finals sometimes. They got to the NBA Finals back. I think they got to be on the list. That's an East and a West team. I think they both make the list. What about the third, though? This is a tough spot because, like, who is it? Who is it? Is it Miami?
No. You know who I would put on there?
And losing.
I'd put the Clippers on there. Just because of all the expectations every single year. And it hasn't been that long, but it seems like it's been a lot of years with Kawhi Leonard, right? I mean, and they always just find a way to lose. Just because the guys get hurt. So, other than that, I don't know who else really has that reputation. Bucks won, so you can't put them on there.
No. Bucks
Knicks
are in
aren't
our
supposed
other list,
to really
right?
win.
Who's our other list with the NBA guys, with the NBA teams? On our good list.
Yeah, Boston,
I think the
Denver, and the Bucks, yeah.
And Milwaukee, right?
Yeah.
So can we have Boston on both lists? Is there rules to this? I mean, it's our parlay, so we could do it.
Yeah. We could.
Covers it both.
All
right.
Covers both angles.
That's fine.
Yeah.
All right, so Boston on the never list. You think Clippers, huh? Clippers.
Is there anyone else
Suns.
that really kind of has that reputation of like, oh, they lost again? You know, I mean, that's like, you kind of like, oh, yeah, when you find out they lost, it's like, of course, they lose every single year. That would be like the Clippers, I would think.
All right. I mean, the Knicks are too easy.
Nah.
The Knicks never win.
They're not supposed to win.
Yeah.
Like, it's got to be
But
a team that you're expecting them to win.
The finals, right? The Heat get to the finals and don't win. Couple recent history, you know. Do we get? I'm good with 2 in the West and 1 in the East. Celtics, Clippers, Suns. That covers us because we got Denver, right?
We got Denver in the other one.
Yeah, we got Denver in the other one. So I mean, we're good. We're good.
Right.
Unless you want to go 3 East and go Celtics, Heat, and we can't lose the Knicks. The Knicks never win. That's absurd. Suns, Celtics, and throw the Clippers in there, and we're good. There you go.
Yeah.
Maybe this will be the
year.
Got
to do it.
Prove us.
And this will be the last one of our 3 legs, right? Hockey and college basketball go first, so it's kind of better to have, we don't want to just kind of take a flyer on this. We really want to be able to say, okay, we could hedge with this. So
options. All right, good.
Yeah. Because OKC doesn't have any expectations. We wouldn't say that. Dallas stinks. You know, there's no real expectations for Dallas. Lakers and LeBron.
You really don't like Dallas. You really don't like Dallas, do you? You really just don't like Dallas.
Because they should be better. I love Luka, but Kyrie Irving really just put a stench on that team. So
frustrated. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We'll go with those 3.
I like it.
Clippers, Suns, Celtics. We'll take a break, then we'll come back, and we'll let you know what the average will pay us when we hit it.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like this is the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to find a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But if we make them a third,
they get in.
This
is the Penn State
rule. Be better than the West half.
Yep.
And that 1 year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Kentucky on the road as a 7-8 dog, beat Tennessee by 4. North Carolina as a 5.5 point underdog, beat Duke on the road.
I took Kentucky plus the points. I think you on it as well. I even said I wouldn't be shocked if they won it. I'm not shocked. They're just that good. It's can they be focused for 40 minutes, and they actually played, I guess you would call it somewhat defense.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
How about this? Nikola Jokic, heavy favorite here at a -170 price, followed by SGA at +250, and Luka Doncic at a 7-1 price.
It would require a whole lot from Luka to, like, 15 of the next 20 games he has to have triple doubles, like something absurd. And it really just comes down to Jokic being amazing, doing everything he's doing. Like, I hate to say it, but he's probably had this locked up the second Embiid was announced out.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the
All
rim.
I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart teams.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live, prime time.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live, overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, prime time, right here on the grid. Closing out hour number 1. I figured it out. If you threw out the highest and then the lowest, and we took the middle one for each one of our 3 leagues, a $10 bet, Dave, will pay on average $10,700. So it's going to cost you $270 to make the bet. You know, if you put three leagues in there from each team, and the average payout is going to be over $10,000. How about that?
I mean, that could make the NBA Finals really interesting for some people to put those in. That'll make you're going to watch the games a lot differently if you got one of them legs left to go. June, you're going to have to put the vacation plans on hold and make some plays like this Black Cloud play tonight. We won't even have that involved with those parlays.
That's enough that. All right, our favorite little segment here, which buried us with the thunderstorms last night with the Chicago Blackhawks find a way to win for only the second time this year, 2 straight. So we're going to college basketball. We're going to, hop on board. I know this line's got sucker written all over it, but give me Georgia, and the line's down to 2.5. 2.5 against the worst team this side of the Mississippi. This god-awful biggest waste of human flesh in basketball uniforms. Missouri Tigers are 0-18 in the SEC, including a double-digit home loss to this Georgia team. They're 9-23 against the spread. Their last 32 games, they're atrocious, and all I have to do is lay 2.5. I mean, the boys in Vegas have fallen asleep at the wheel. We got a winner, an absolute lock. I'll say it. They can't lose, Dave. Can't lose.
Listen, first thing you got to do is breathe. You're getting red. You're getting excited. And I can't believe you picked this game. How can this lose? We'll talk about it after the break.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And welcome back in-game live, Primetime right here on the grid. Hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza. Having some fun here. Finished up the last hour with our Black Cloud with the Georgia Bulldogs laying 3.5 against god-awful Missouri, which, to put it into perspective, Dave, they have not won a game in 2024. Their last win came last year. That's how bad. 0 for January, 0 for February, 0 for March, and yet somehow or another, the boys in Vegas think that this is going to be the day because all we have to do is lay 2.5. I mean, and it was 3.5 this afternoon, and it lowered. Some nitwit out there is actually betting Missouri, and it's down to 2.5. I don't know.
This is his sun hat, but I put it on last night to protect me from the rain and the storms that were coming when you bet on something that really couldn't lose and only got the Blackhawks 7 goals in a game for like the first time in maybe a decade. This team has not won a game in 2024. That's a lot of games. They haven't won a conference game all season. This is a conference game. You literally will part the Red Sea. You will part the storms that will come from this. If the Georgia Bulldogs can't get it done, this one will live for a long, long time, Wetzel. I don't know what to do other than just go, please, Bulldogs. Uga, take Uga to the game. Hopefully Uga is there. Bring the Bulldog. Let him cheer on the basketball team. The two bad teams, though. Like, you got to be nervous about this a little bit, no? Are you nervous at all?
A little bit, just because the line went down. Yeah, I mean, why did it go down? I mean, who really is betting? I mean, you might not bet Georgia. Okay, I get that. You think, okay, Missouri's due, so I'll stay away. But to actually bet Missouri and say, I think after 18 attempts, number 19 is going to be the one. Yes. Not 15 or 16 or 17 or 8. 19, that's the lucky number.
Yeah.
I mean,
I worked at a book both times. Detroit went winless, the Detroit Lions and the Cleveland Browns. There were guys you're describing. Every single week they would come up and they would bet them. This is the week. And I would see them coming and go, this is the week, right? Yep, give me the money. I mean, I'm talking like 5 dimes. They used to bet 5 dimes on the Browns to win a game, money line. And you knew they weren't going to win. But they had to keep coming, and they're going to be right one of these games. It would be ironic if this is the night they're right. This would be because they're only getting 2.5 points. The money line is what, plus 140? Like, you want to be right when they're getting 10, and the money line pays for half the season. Like, if they're right tonight, you're like, wow, all right, great. You earned it. Okay. What's the present for winning this game? If Missouri wins this game, what do they get tomorrow? Do they get Kentucky? Do they get Tennessee? Which team do they get tomorrow? Right?
Yeah, one of those teams. I'm not sure which one, but
you just gave our audience and everyone watching the show, listening, wherever you're at, a reason to pay attention to this game. This is good. I saw it. I couldn't help but laugh. This will be an all-timer. If Georgia doesn't win this basketball game, I mean, a train ride home is going to be something. It's going to be something. I saw how excited you got just talking about this. Like, you're going to get excited.
It's just... and I've been in the business long enough to know I should stay away myself, right? You know, that line should be 4.5, 5. And not Georgia's not any good either, but, at least they got some wins. But it should be 4.5, 5.5, right?
Yeah.
But let's do it. Give me Georgia. Let's do it. There's one other game I want to talk to you about as well with Cincinnati and Kansas, but we want to do the alternate universe here. So we got an NBA game with the Lakers and Sacramento Queens. This is our way of kind of pushing the odds in our favor. So a little alternate universe time. All right. by the way, we did hit ours last night with the Minnesota Teacups beating the Clippers and covering the spread. 3.5, 4.5, we were telling you. So nice cha-ching on that one. Nice 2-to-1 payout. So that's how it is. So tonight, this is going to be easy for me tonight. Last night was a little tough, Dave, but I like Sacramento. They're getting 3 anyway. So I'm going to flip that, and I'm going to go Sacramento. I'm going to lay listen, they beat them by 10 in Los Angeles, a week and a half or so ago, 130, 120. So I won't go that high, but, it's funny. They're not giving you that many odds. Minus I would have thought it would have been, since they were 3-point dogs, it would have been a little better. But all right, let's go 4.5. I did 4.5 last night. Paid 2-to-1. Tonight it pays plus 188 on FanDuel. So give me Sacramento laying 4.5 at plus 188.
Okay, that's good. I saw that graphic there. What do you think about the total? How does this one go? Because the games between these two teams tend to go towards the over, but the starting point is really high. Did you feel one way strongly about the total at all?
I originally thought over, but you said it, 238.5. That's, they got to 250 last time, but the chances of that happening again, right? That's a lot of, I'm thinking maybe the Lakers changed strategy and say, well, listen, we tried to run and gun, it didn't work. So let's slow it down a little bit. Maybe go under.
The tendency would be towards that. You just talked about somebody that was probably betting Missouri on the money line for 2 months straight and didn't win. I'm gonna go with the over in the alternate universe.
All right.
Now you can't go too much on this because that's the starting point is a high number. So I'm thinking around that 242.5 or 244.5 number. Take a plus, go that route, and let's live it up. Let's go. You kind of put all the eggs in one basket because you got the same game parlay with the Kings, and now you got the alternate universe with the Kings. I'm a little concerned by this, but that's some nights that
was a producer prediction. I don't think the producer realized we could have done Atlanta Portland, but I guess who wants to bet that game, right? So we'll double down on the game of the night, LA Sacramento. Okay.
It is. It's the West Coast game of the night. You're going to be up late. You got a lot of things to root for late tonight. You're going to be up late.
Yeah. This will be one of those, let's dig deep into the freezer and figure out, what I'm responsible for eating all the leftovers. And then if there's no leftovers, then I got to go into the freezer and get all the things that are at the bottom. That's that freezer burn for a year and a half. So
why do we live the same life apart from each other?
It's amazing, right?
That's the dad's drawer. That's where it's at. It's in the freezer. It's been in there a year. Don't worry about it. It's good. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Amazing.
The Bostonian versus the book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like
this
is the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to find a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But if we make them a third,
they get in.
Third,
this is the Penn State
rule. Be better than the West half.
Yep.
And that 1 year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the book.
Kentucky on the road as a 7-8 dog, beat Tennessee by 4. North Carolina as a 5.5 point underdog, beat Duke on the road.
I took Kentucky plus the points. I think you on it as well. I even said I wouldn't be shocked if they won it. I'm not shocked. They're just that good. It's can they be focused for 40 minutes? And they actually played, I guess you would call it somewhat defense.
Game time decisions. only on SportsGrid.
How about this? Nikola Jokic, heavy favorite here to -170 price, followed by SGA at +250, and Luka Doncic at a 7-1 price.
It would require a whole lot from Luka to 15 of the next 20 games he has to have triple doubles, something absurd. And it really just comes down to Jokic being amazing, doing everything he's doing. I hate to say it, but he's probably had this locked up the second Embiid was announced out.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats and fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the
All
rim.
I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart teams.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live, prime time.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live, overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Hi, welcome back. In-game live, prime time, right here on the grid. What do we got? 12 past the hour. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan until 10 p.m. Eastern time. Taking a look at some of the games. Let's pay attention to the NBA as we welcome in our really first guest of the evening, Eric Lindquist, who is the fantasy betting analyst at OddsShopper. Joins us now to get some winners in the National Basketball Association. What's going on, Eric? How are you tonight, my friend?
I'm doing okay here. If the Warriors could pick up the slack a little bit, my guy Trace Jackson Davis getting the start here. No Draymond Green, kind of everything going against him there. But Kuminga off to a nice start for me. Ended up on the points prop there. So just paying attention to that game as we go here. Watching Jalen Duren take it down against Toronto. Pretty fascinating start to the evening, but really going to start taking off for me here in the evening window.
Evening window, Eric, includes Atlanta and Portland. I know you do good work over there, but can you find something in this game? You're talking about being excited for the evening slate. I mean, the line is short. Atlanta, a road favorite, which, again, you can't believe until you say it out loud. But then you look at Portland and you go, seriously, do you want them? Hopefully you got a player prop or something in this game, please, anything.
I got something for you. 3.5 assists for Bogdan Bogdanovic. The guy's had nearly 9.5 potential assists over the last 5 games here. He's averaging that is, without Jalen Johnson on the floor here. He joins Trae Young and now Sadiq Bey out for the year as well. I think Bogdanovic is very, very undervalued. That's getting juiced more and more here as the night goes on, but sitting at -125 earlier in the day, -130, -135, I'd be just happy with that play as well. He should be soaring over 3.5 assists if he runs semi-neutral against a Portland team that will be without Jeremy Grant. Feel pretty confident about that play.
All right. Big game tonight. Lakers and then Sacramento Queens, as I like to call them. Tip off in about an hour or so. Lakers, somehow or another, Eric, I don't get it. What are they doing as a road 2.5-point favorite? They couldn't beat them a week and a half ago at home. They haven't beaten them. 7-1 is Sacramento last 8 times they've met. So I don't know. You want to give me 2.5 points down to 2.5 anyway. You want to give me 2.5, 3 points with Sacramento at home? Seems to me to be the logical bet.
Yeah, that would be logical. I'm kind of neutral at this point in time on it, mainly because Anthony Davis could not have played worse in his 2 matchups here against Sabonis recently. Sabonis has absolutely had his number somehow, some way. I think you just look at this from a defensive, stylistic standpoint. Sacramento's ran pretty darn well in defensively being able to hold it down. They have Keon Ellis, who's going to be entering the starting unit, who's kind of a nothing out there as well. And defensively, the Lakers can only improve. They've been terrible since they added 2 bottom 20th percentile defenders in Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell into the starting unit here over the last couple months. Anthony Davis will play better eventually in this matchup, and I feel as though it's kind of a stay away for me at this point in time, but I'd probably be on the Lakers side, on the opposite side of you there. But for me, more of an efficient line at this point.
Wetzel's all in with this game as far as his same game parlay, and he saw the Sabonis props. He's in with the rebounds and the this and the that. Is Sabonis going to have a big night? Is there something you see here with your stuff? I mean, there's the same game parlay.
Triple-double, baby?
Right there. But, I mean, this is his night, right, to shine?
Yeah, I mean, Sabonis, for some reason, he's absolutely excelled in this matchup here recently. Had the triple-double at plus 225 that I ended up cashing in on last time these teams met on March 6th. That's my spreadsheet there. So there you go. That's pretty decent little number. Sitting at plus 230 at a couple of different spots. I see Bet Rivers still has it posted at plus 230. That'd be a decent enough piece of value. He closed at plus 175 against Milwaukee, plus 155 against Houston. So you're starting to see the number take off a little bit here. And this is a matchup, again, he's triple-doubled his last two, absolutely dominated AD at it. So if you wanted to put a little bit of a sprinkle on it, I don't detest that idea at all.
You mentioned Golden State. Late notice that Draymond Green out. They're hanging tough with Dallas. I did like them anyway. The line jumped up, Eric, from 7 to 8.5, and right now I think it's a 3-point game, and the line is pretty similar to the 8.5 it was. 5-point game, 34-29, still 8.5. But did you still like Golden State despite the injuries?
Yeah, so I might have misspoke. I'm on the Dallas side of that one. It did move.
Oh, okay.
I still bet it at the 8.5. So I joined you with that one. Ended up on Luka triple-double. He's got the 4 assists to go with it right now. We need him to start rebounding the basketball, but he's going for his 7th straight triple-double. Been kind of on the rise with that one here. Ended up on the Kuminga points prop, but paying very close attention to this game. Been pretty low scoring, 34-29 here. Inside of 9 minutes, I suppose, probably running relatively neutral to the 233.5 total, maybe a little bit under that at the moment. But yeah, definitely going to be a fun watch for me tonight.
Word on the street is from our esteemed producer, Matty G, that you're a Minnesota Timberwolves guy. You might know a little bit about the T-Wolves. They looked great last night against the Clippers. That was a really fun game. Kawhi went down. Wetzel and I are coming up with these dream parlays. I had a guy that worked with in the book. He used to call it the Martin Luther King parlay. And I asked him why. And he said he had a dream, and these people have a dream when they put these parlays together. It was a genius thing. You guys can use it if you like. Tell us why, if you want to involve a team in the Western Conference, would you make a case for or against the Minnesota Timberwolves to actually either get to the Western Conference Finals or win the West?
14-1 is it sitting right now? I mean, Karl Anthony Towns, the health matters so much there. Anthony Edwards, I mean, we did hear from Denver last season. They talked about it being their most difficult postseason matchup. Minnesota played them very, very tough, and they have the interior with Rudy Gobert. I always get worried come playoff time when you talk about the pick and roll. The Clippers really did a great job multiple times in playoff series when Rudy Gobert was in Utah of taking advantage of the pick and roll, putting Rudy Gobert on the perimeter. And he's very neutralized there. If you can run decently well, knocking a couple of threes down, you really force him away from the basket. And come playoff time, that's a tough ask. But I will say at the current number 14-1, the only other team that I'd really be interested in, and I'm curious what you guys think about this one, I love 26-1 New Orleans Pelicans. This is a team that has just started to play some really good two-way basketball. Herbert Jones, you get some of these big wings come playoff time. We've seen it with Andrew Wiggins in recent seasons. You get some dynamic playmaking wings. If they can knock down shots defensively, they have been the number 1 team in defensive rating since the All-Star break. Love what they're starting to put together there. Trey Murphy, another really nice young player. And, of course, the Zion Williamson character, he seems pretty good, too, if he stays healthy.
Yeah. If he stays out of the Twinkie shop, yeah. So I'll ask you then, if it's come on, this guy's as big as a house. If it's not Denver or Boston, who would it be, Eric? To win it?
It's not Denver or Boston. I mean, I would hope New Orleans at that kind of a number, 26-1, but more than likely, Phoenix is a team that just got back together. I mean, Humpty Dumpty fell apart. Now you're getting Devin Booker back. First game back against Cleveland, they ran pretty well to be facing a Cleveland team without Evan Mobley, without Donovan Mitchell. Mitchell getting back tonight here. But Phoenix is kind of one where you got to just look at the healthy pieces there. If you have those three guys playing 40-plus minutes a night come playoff ball, they can compete with anybody. And so I think Phoenix is a pretty nice Western Conference number to be looking at. Potentially, I think that they're probably the next most likely for me. Obviously, New Orleans not being all that likely, but you're getting the price for it. Out of the East, I don't really have any kind of a strong lean towards it at the moment. I think if you made me decide, the Knicks, if you have OG Anunoby doing whatever he just did to Philadelphia here, and Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, we don't know if he'll be back here as well, kind of a X factor, but not a lot of teams want to go into the Garden in that environment right now. I know that they're third in terms of number there on the board. Milwaukee, if you have Giannis and Damian Lillard figuring it out here as they come down the stretch, that's a very potent team. But Knicks at 10-1, I'm interested.
Did Matty G put you up to that? Did Matty G make you say the Knicks right there? I can't believe what's happening right now. Are you a Minnesota guy?
I think Matty G's heard me say it before. Yeah.
Minnesota Twins win the Central or no?
I think so. I mean, we got to be sitting pretty good. Cleveland, the pitching's got some question marks. We've got a number of different things. Detroit is a couple years away, so feel good about it.
Good job, Art. Appreciate it.
The Bostonian versus the book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like this is the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to find a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But if we make them a third,
they get in.
Third,
this is the Penn State
rule. Be better than the West half.
Yep.
That 1 year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the book.
Kentucky on the road as a 7-8 dog, beat Tennessee by 4. North Carolina as a 5.5 point underdog, beat Duke on the road.
I took Kentucky plus the points. I think you won it as well. I even said I wouldn't be shocked if they won it. I'm not shocked. They're just that good. It's can they be focused for 40 minutes, and they actually played, I guess you would call it somewhat defense.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
How about this? Nikola Jokic, heavy favorite here at a -170 price, followed by SGA at +250, and Luka Doncic at a 7-1 price.
It would require a whole lot from Luka to 15 of the next 20 games he has to have triple doubles, something absurd. And it really just comes down to Jokic being amazing, doing everything he's doing. I hate to say it, but he's probably had this locked up the second Embiid was announced out.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the rim.
All I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart teams.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live, prime time.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live, overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
welcome back. In-game live, prime time here on the grid, 25 past the hour. Hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza. So I don't want to jinx it, but your Nittany Lions up, it's down to 3. They were up 5 or 6 a moment ago. But 13-10, good little start for Penn State.
Yeah.
You know,
Don't say it.
You live the dream
Please.
here for a little while longer.
Stay away from the cloud. Stay away.
Laying 6.5. I'm not going to bet it.
Yeah.
Not even going to bet it.
Don't touch it. Don't touch
Not even going to. I won't even look at the score. It'll be like the Blackhawks last time.
You can
won't
look
even
at
look
the
at the score.
You can keep the people updated. That's fine. Just don't bet it. Just don't bet it right now. It's not for you. There's enough on the board. Like, there's enough going on. Duquesne's holding on late against St. Louis. Bet them. Duquesne. That's what guys used to call him on the phone back in the day. Duquesne. Duquesne, yeah. Just saying it wrong on purpose. You can bet that one. The West Coast.
I got the over on that one. That's looking pretty good, the over on that one.
Stanford and Cal. Cal's up 20-12. That's an under game. Man, that's screaming under. Whew. That's a bad basketball
You know, it's
game,
amazing.
Boys.
Is a classic example of how you just remember the losses more than the wins, right? So I won a game this afternoon. It finished up. Which one was it? I was getting 16.5. Oh, Nichols against who were they playing? The number 1
This
seed.
is my favorite. You sound like every guy in the book. You don't even know who the game was. It just graded, and you won.
And I won. So Nichols. So the team that they were losing to, right? And Nichols is like halfway decent. They were getting 16.5, like 16.5 for a third-place team in the conference. McNeese State, there you go. So, lo and behold, McNeese, right. So McNeese State is up 18 with 50 seconds left. And they decide that they're going to run out the clock. I'm like, okay. So McNeese State runs to 30 seconds, and now Nichols gets the ball with about 20, 25 seconds left. Now I'm worrying about whether Nichols is going to return the favor for some dopey reason and just lose by 18, getting 16.5. No, Nichols goes down, drives to the bucket, kid gets fouled, right? He's about a 65, 70% free throw shooter. Now, I'm looking pretty good. I know that, if this kid hits both free throws, I would think, McNeese would do the same thing. Just let the final 20 seconds or so run off the clock, right? So, bottom line is the guy missed both free throws. And they lose by 16. I win by the hook. So, I'm happy. But now I got the over UCLA, which I never, ever, ever play. I've been playing unders all stinking long on UCLA.
Why'd you
But
change?
they've had this last 2 weeks rash of overs. So what happens?
So you changed? You flipped to the over side?
Yeah.
Did it win?
Game
it's
goes
over.
under. Yeah. No, went under by a half a point. 124.5.
Okay, so you giveth and you taketh away. You win by a half a point, you lose by a half a point.
But the pain of losing is worse than the thrill of winning. I should have won. The kid hit a couple free throws. The other game, how did the 124
you
and a half
lost.
points? You can't get the 125 points? Really?
The other game you should have lost. So you lost. So you win, you lose. You pay the VIG though. The book always collects the VIG. That's the problem with this game, back and forth. But you're right. You only you didn't even remember the team that they played in it won. That's a perfect example of a gambler that's been in this business a long time. You don't even remember the win. But you could play it out exactly the loss. I think we got to change. We got to change that. The good wins. I don't know. They calling it bad beats forever, and I used to say it all the time at the counter in sports books. The ticket writers are like bartenders. You listen to the bad beat stories, you're serving up parlays and teasers instead of shots and beers. But that's what it is. That's and they tell you nonstop, day after day after day. You hear the bad beat stories. Nobody ever comes in and goes, "You're not going to believe what happened." I was laying 16.5, and a kid went on a line, and he's a 78% free throw shooter, and he missed both, and I won. No, you know what you hear? I laid it, and I had it won the whole time. Never in doubt. They never tell you that part.
Yeah. 7-0 Villanova over DePaul. It's up to 27.5.
There you
and
go.
the over-under
Stay
is down to 130.5.
Stay patient. Stay patient. Hold. Just like that movie.
They haven't
Hold.
scored in 4 minutes.
Hold.
We're 4 minutes in, and they haven't scored yet.
Don't do it, Wetzel. I know you want to take the points. Wait until you get 30.
It's 28.5.
Here it goes. Here it comes. Patience.
Now, if they score 50 points, Villanova would have to score 80 now or 79 to cover. So 50 and 79 is 129. The over-under is still at 131.
That's right there.
Not quite there.
See? Yeah. You really should have been a math
I got to
professor.
get to 50. Yeah. I got to get to 50. Yeah. So
getting close. Keep an eye on this. We got to be the only show in America watching this game. Keeping an eye on this line. We're the only show.
I wanted to ask you about this one. Here, what do we do with this one? They're starting here in 2 minutes. Kansas decides they're going to sit their two best players. Nagging injuries, basically.
Oh, boy.
They're getting 2.5.
Yep.
Now, the whole world's going to be on Cincinnati, right?
Of course.
And I was going to bet Kansas, Dave. But, I did look it up with this Kansas team. They only have 3 guys average double figures. They only have 5. Get a load of this. Kansas, right? Kansas basketball. They only have 5 guys that average 5 points or more.
Oh, boy.
And you're taking the top 2 guys away.
Yep.
So how doesn't Cincinnati? No, Cincinnati's not great, but they're okay. I mean, how doesn't Cincinnati win this game?
Oh, Scott, why do we got to get involved there? This is a hard one. So 2 schools of thought. They sit these guys. Everybody kind of goes, well, geez, if they're not playing, what are we playing? We go and we lose. We're gonna rally for next week because they're gonna get in. They're in the dance,
right?
But do they care about this game at all? It's a hard handicap. Or they got the guys in the room, the guys that are playing. Coach Self says, "Listen, you guys, it's on you. Go win, go beat this team, so we can play tomorrow. You guys want to see what we got? We're sitting these guys because they're hurt. Step up." And they go and win. I hate these games from a book standpoint, from a handicapping standpoint, or from a betting standpoint. I have no idea what I'm going to get. This is a must-watch, wait-and-see type game. Because when you look at the Big 12, this is really the best basketball tournament, maybe, of all the postseason tournaments because there's so many good teams. You saw what happened today, right? K-State live wins a game against Texas. What was the other Big 12 game that went on today? Another one where the dog won. So I don't know. This is one of those situations where I'm looking at it going, I don't know. Dogs live. I think dogs live. I'm not in a hurry to make a play against Kansas in the first round of the Big 12 tourney. But, it's a new era. I mean, these things, they can lose. So I don't know. I don't feel strongly about this one at all.
The opposite pick parlay would be Kansas and the over, right? And the common sense parlay would be Cincinnati and the under because you're saying, how's Kansas going to score? But I will tell you, the over-under went up to 139.5. It's only a point higher, but it was 138.5. So someone's betting the over. But how's Kansas going to score? They had trouble scoring anyway. Now you take away their top 2 scores? How's he going to get to 140 points?
I don't know.
I like the under.
I don't know. I mean, did you look at the ACC, the last game tonight on the board, BC and Clemson? This is another one where, like, BC wins, right? They get Clemson. And you see that number. Looks like a football number, right? 7.5, 8, 145.5, dead under. Got to be a dead under. But I didn't feel strong about this side. I didn't have any real strong feelings here. How about you?
Yeah, I got Clemson 11-2. You see there, they've beaten BC pretty handily. And it's weird because BC beats who'd they beat in the first round? Miami yesterday, right? And they've beaten Miami pretty handily, and that held true. Is it going to hold true again? Like they don't beat clearly Clemson, so is that going to hold true, or are we going to get an upset there?
That was kind of a gift yesterday. I can't believe Miami was favored. If anybody's been watching Miami play the last couple of weeks, that was just one where you take it straight from the power rating and you put it up, and you don't have any real strong, leaner opinion. And, that's where the advantage lies for the bettor, because the book has to put everything up. The bettor doesn't have to bet everything. But that was one where I thought, all right, that's good to know that trend is an under. Did you look at any out west games? I got games in the backyard. Arizona State and Utah tonight in the Pac-12 game. That's an interesting one. Late, or I forget what is it called. It's not called the Big Sky, but UC Santa Barbara is playing tonight, and I really like them. That's a short number in the Big West Conference. UC Santa Barbara against Cal State Northridge, down at the bottom, late. That's a play.
Got the under on that one. 14-6 under. Last 20 times these two teams have played. And how about Montana? I'm going to go with Montana in the Big Sky Championship game against Montana State. 5-0 straight up and against the spread last 5 meetings. Grizzlies and
out right now.
Montana
State. Gold in that segment. Yeah.
Will Cam know Montana State? He'll know Montana.
100%. He knows them both.
Yeah?
It's a lock. It's a
lock. Little parlay, Montana and Montana State. We'll find out when we come back.
Still happen.
The Bostonian versus the book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like this is a guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to find a way to let them in, because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But if we make them a third,
they get in.
This
is the Penn State rule.
Be better than the West half.
Yep.
And that 1 year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too, because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the book.
Kentucky on the road as a 7-8 dog, beat Tennessee by 4. North Carolina as a 5.5 point underdog, beat Duke on the road.
I took Kentucky plus the points. I think you won it as well. I even said I wouldn't be shocked if they won it. I'm not shocked. They're just that good. It's can they be focused for 40 minutes, and they actually played, I guess you would call it somewhat defense.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
How about this? Nikola Jokic, heavy favorite here at a -170 price, followed by SGA at plus 250, and Luka Doncic at a 7-1 price.
It would require a whole lot from Luka to 15 of the next 20 games he has to have triple doubles, something absurd. And it really just comes down to Jokic being amazing, doing everything that he's doing. I hate to say it, but he's probably had this locked up the second Embiid was announced out.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the rim.
All I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
InGame Live All Access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart Team.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
InGame Live, Primetime.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
InGame Live, Overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, it's In-Game Live, Primetime, right here on the grid. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan, as we welcome in our good buddy Cam Stewart, who will take over top of the hour, along with Gabe Morency. So we were just talking, Cam, about the NCAA tournament and this Kansas game. I don't know, we got a tip-off here in just a couple of moments. Kansas with basically nobody playing, their two best players. Any thoughts on that game? And what else you got going on tonight in college basketball?
It's amazing, Scott. Like, it's almost like you read my mail. And we've done a lot of crazy things in our lives, but this could be one of the stupidest. Today, it's called the Cincinnati three-step. Reds in preseason baseball. Right? Xavier, who beat Butler. That's a school in Cincinnati. Nice. And nice. Cincinnati. So it's the Cincinnati. And so we're 2-0 right now. I need the Bearcats. But I worry. Like, ooh, Kansas, they don't have the two best players or whatever in the line. Dave, this feels, you know me. I bet it. And I'm like, if I find a way to get a number with Kansas, I am going to try to middle this bad boy. Like, I hope, like, literally Cincinnati gets off to a wicked start, and then I can, like, get in the middle. Guys, I'm going to tell you, some of these teams I bet today, I'm surprised, like Cardano and Sussman don't even, like, they might pull me from the network. But it's been great. All these losers, like, I'm on Michigan tonight. I took Xavier, and I'm almost embarrassed. I took California against Stanford. No, I didn't, but here's the reasoning. This team lost to Stanford by 30, and they're getting 2. Do you think these casinos are giving away money? Why would you hang a line like that? Yes. Dave, you know the way I think, and it doesn't work all the time, but if you stick to the plan, my problem is money management. I take a lot of bad teams cover spreads too. So that's what we're doing with these late games, right? So I'm worried about the Cincinnati game, but I'm on Michigan plus the 7, and I already took Cal. Oh, no, sorry. And I got another one for you. Guys, roll tape. Maybe
Missouri?
put this one. Maybe you go.
Oh, God.
You
just.
Oh,
my goodness, he bet.
No. Missouri is going to win tonight and break an 18-game losing streak. I'm back.
Oh, that's the black cloud play of the day. How did you put American money on a team that's 0-18? 0-18. They haven't won in 2024, Cam.
American money, loonies, Bitcoin, gold, whatever the hell you're selling, fake currency. I don't care. The line is there. Dave worked in a book. I'm telling you, there's it's going to roll. Hey, if Missouri loses, so be it. But I have to stick to who I am, and that's betting against guys when the whole world's going to be on. Hey, Georgia isn't a world beater. Who the hell are the Georgia Bulldogs? Missouri played some tight games. Like, they've lost 18 in a row. But you know what? A break in the thing. This is what helps. Look at all the teams today that had 3 and 4 game losing streaks. Take a look at them today. Winning outright. This is different now. Right. These are teams where they get to hit the reset button. I'm not saying Missouri's going anywhere. Hell, they could get blown out tonight. But I'm going to tell you this. I would rather take a cold team heading into this than a hot team. Because the hot team loses momentum. It's kind of like what we talked about with Jacksonville when they went into that bye week and then they got murdered after that. It's totally Dave. I know.
I do use that philosophy in college football bowl games. You know, I do that for the bowl games. I love betting on teams that lose 2-3 in a row. Absolutely.
Thank you, Scott. Yeah. And I would like to see your record, and I guarantee it's almost 70% if you take the they're hot coming into the bowl game. Yeah, numbnuts. They've also had how much time off? Like, you think they're just going to flick up? Oh, we're still hot. You're not hot.
Yeah.
The cold team has a chance to go, we're here. We're playing with house money. Yeah, I probably shouldn't use that term, but you know what I mean.
No, you're hot. Hot, like sizzle.
Oh,
listen.
Oh, I thought
this is the way to come back for a little. Yeah. This is you coming in hot, okay?
Yeah,
I circled the games, and you and Morency got a lot to talk about tonight because there's late games. And if you were here with me in Vegas, I would ask you, do you want to go to the WAC conference game at the Orleans, really cheap refreshments, and see Abilene Christian play Stephen F. Austin? And I know you both know both of their nicknames. Or can I interest you in heading over to Henderson to the Dollar Loan Center to see Cal State Northridge against UC Santa Barbara, where we lay the points with the favorite, I think, there. Or do you want to go highfalutin down on the Strip and see Arizona State and Utah, Which games are you looking at tonight? West Coast time.
You know what, Dave? I'll take the middle door. Door number 2.
Yeah.
I've never, I know those other teams. I've never been to a Big West game. And as a guy who plays, your girls play softball and stuff.
Yeah.
I remember a lot of pitchers that came to the Blue Jays, Cal State, Fullerton, great baseball schools there, a couple of those schools. They used to be anyway. I have never seen a basketball game from that conference. I've been to Vegas. I saw that UNLV, Sinners versus Mormons during the Jimmer Fredette days with BYU and stuff. Me and Blessing used to go to games. I've seen a million. I want to see, look, this is my favorite. Look at this. Matadors versus Gauchos. This is my bag. I love even the names alone. I'm I get to see the Matadors play, and I don't have to run with the Bulls. Oh, beautiful. And the Gauchos. Look at him, sneaky under his little hat there. I love this conference. It's just so crazy. That's the game I'd want to go to. Actually, they're all good games, but yeah, I like your style, Dave. Yeah, you're a Gaucho. You're a Gaucho.
Do it. We talked about it. We set a line real quick on the fact that Montana State's playing Montana in the Big Sky Conference Championship. I mean, Wetzel was just playing along, but
Grizzlies
both
versus Bobcats.
Right?
Yeah, Montana's Grizz.
They didn't even let me get the question out.
Yeah.
So easy. It's easy to know the nicknames, Cam, but who do we like in the basketball game? 6.5, 144.5. The line total's coming down. What do you like in this basketball game?
I hate to say it, Dave, and you know me. I've literally ate my dinner from the dumpster for every single meal tonight, but I kind of like Montana at 6.5. I just think they're a better team in this spot. It's also a rivalry game, so I don't look for the letdown or anything. These schools don't like each other. They're the same states. It's actually nice because the state of Montana has Grizzlies and it has Bobcats, which totally makes sense. I don't understand. Hey, by the way, schools, can we get 37 less Cougars and Tigers and get more creative? That's another thing I like about that conference. Anteaters, Gauchos, Matadors.
Yes.
They get it, right? Wetzel, it's like those AAA baseball teams. How do they survive?
Yeah.
Merch with names. Remember Tony Sincata worked at the network, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. I'm in.
Love it.
You know what I mean? I love that stuff. But get more creative. I'm done with Tigers, Cougars, and there's too many of them. We got to switch it up. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Montana 21-4 last 25 meetings against Montana State. By the way,
they're good.
I'm on Montana too. Yeah,
they're a very good program in everything. In football for a small school, it's a very, very well-run institution. They're good. They're solid all the time.
Yeah.
So guys,
champs all the time.
Yeah. We got golf this week. The unofficial fifth major, the Players. I'll tell you something, Dave. I feel like Morency. I was kind of should I bet on European handball, a Chinese horse, and put Scotty Scheffler in the parlay to jock it up for plus 450? I'm going to be literally talking to Dave and Brady Cannon about 6 things overnight: European handball, maybe a tennis match, a horse, just to knock this thing up to 20-1. Because hey, he's plus 450, 5-1 now. He won the tournament last year, but guys, it's hard to repeat. This is what I'm doing with Scheffler. Just give me him at plus money for a top 5. Plus 150. We'll start there. I'm going to find ways to bet him, but I need to jack up that price. I really like Dave, I had Wyndham Clark last week, 2nd, and I had Will Zalatoris, 3rd. Story of my life. And the one week I give Wetzel a pick, Cole, he shoots a 78. That's his worst tournament of the year. And I feel horribly for that, Wetzel. But let's get to Frank Font and the board here, and we'll tell you what's happening. This course, it's going to be interesting. Winds, water, Island Green, that could turn things really, really nasty. As I said, the Florida swing, I love it compared to California. Tougher golf courses and conditions. So right now, guys, I'm going to start things off. I love Max Homa. Even though he's a California kid and he went to Cal, same school as Aaron Rodgers, he's starting to trend upward and starting to get a lot better in Florida. And he brought his B game and still finished very strong inside the top 10. Max Homa. Will Zalatoris, Dave, it's like a friend. He'll let you down, but you always give him a chance again. He's like, you know what? I know you got problems, but I love you, bro. We grew up as children together. He's that guy, and if he wins a tournament and I don't have money on him, I will absolutely lose it. I'll go to the loony bin. Hideki Matsuyama, great Florida golf player, great tough course player, quiet, just methodically will plot along. And Dave, and you know what? When he's in contention on Sunday, unlike some of these other big names, he knows how to win. 38-1. Stone cold closer. Wyndham Clark hasn't played the course. I don't care. This guy's one of the hottest golfers. Do you know Taylor Mathis went on a date with this guy? Oh, my God. She can tell you. Ask her for that story. Yeah. Apparently, he took her to a golf course, and she's like, why would a golfer take me to a golf course? I go, you bring up good points, Taylor. I hope everything's going well in your life, but you could have been up with Wyndham Clark. The guy's worth millions. 45. What else do we got down there? I think I got a hoagie sandwich at 75. And my friend, Min Woo Lee, almost beat Scheffler last year in the tournament. So MWL is going to be on my card. I got a couple top 20s and 40s. I don't know how much time we left. We can blast through this stuff right now, guys.
We got time.
I love you guys. Hovland, plus 130, top 20. Don't worry, I didn't give you Cole this week, Wetzel. Aberg, dangerous player, plus 180. Look at these prices for top 20s. Sahith Theegala, don't sleep on the kid from Pepperdine. Man, he's a real good golfer, and he's not afraid of anything. And Sunjay Im, he doesn't win a lot, but he loves finishing top 5 and 10. He's one of those guys, we call him an ATM machine. He gets a paycheck, but sometimes he has problems closing the door. And top 40, Dave, Aaron, Rye, and Ginger.
Really?
Ginger? Rye. Instead of rye bread, we're going to go with Rye and Ginger for a top 40. Aaron Rye. He's a Brit, and he's crazy plus money too. So that's me and Carver have a couple of the same picks when I did the golf pick. I think Hoagie offers the best value at 75. And if you're going to play one more guy that I think is dangerous in matchups, I think Victor Hovland can win this week. I just can't bet everybody. So that's kind of what I like in the golf. I'm getting murdered in hockey.
This one?
Yeah.
How about this one? I have a question. Will there be a hole-in-one on number 17? FanDuel has it up. It's minus 270 on the no. It's plus 195 on the yes. And
okay.
You've watched this for a long time.
Yes.
You think somebody's getting an ace?
The thing is, Dave, at the Masters, there's always a hole in one because it's almost like a magnet to the hole. Like, I bet it all the time. Like, guys like Bo Van Pelt and stuff. Like, I hit that prop every single tournament. This is different, though. It's an island green. It's a tougher hole. We don't know about the conditions, but at 2-1, I'll take a chance. I'm not going to say it's a stone cold lock or a great bet, but yes, I think there could be a hole in one. These guys are really, really good, and they've been close before. It depends how they set up the pins. That's the whole thing. If they set them up in the right spot off a hill and the funnel down and all that stuff, I'm down with it. Dave, I'm sorry I bet against Penn State today, but I had to take Michigan.
I want you to deliver a message to Morency, you people following the show. We watch Gabe and Cam up next late. We don't get many shots at Michigan. Michigan's getting the best of Penn State for years now in football and all this other stuff. But I just want you to say, when you go on with Morency, Dave said, we are Penn State. We're winning tonight.
Cut his mic. That's what Morency will say. Whatever, man.
The Bostonian versus the book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like
this is
the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to find a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But if we make them a third,
they get in.
This
is the Penn State rule.
Be better than the West half.
Yep.
And that 1 year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the book.
Kentucky on the road as a 7-8 point dog, beat Tennessee by 4. North Carolina as a 5.5 point underdog, beat Duke on the road.
I took Kentucky plus the points. I think you on it as well. I even said I wouldn't be shocked if they won it. I'm not shocked. They're just that good. It's can they be focused for 40 minutes? And they actually played, I guess you would call it somewhat defense.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
How about this? Nikola Jokic, heavy favorite here to -170 price, followed by SGA at +250, and Luka Doncic at a 7-1 price.
It would require a whole lot from Luka to 15 of the next 20 games he has to have triple doubles, something absurd. And it really just comes down to Jokic being amazing, doing everything that he's doing. I hate to say it, but he's probably had this locked up the second Embiid was announced out.
The early line only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the
All
rim.
I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smarty.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live, prime time.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live, overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, prime time. Quick little 2 hours in the books. So we got a couple of minutes here. Dave Sharapan, yours truly, Scott Wetzel, to put some final plays in. Dave, I will tell you, your Penn State Lions looking good, up 11 against Michigan. So I won't even suggest putting any more money on that. DePaul hanging around against Villanova, but the scoring is super low, which makes it dangerous because Villanova's going to score eventually. But for now, it's down to 15.5.
So. Is 3 for 23 from the field.
Oh.
They made 3 3-pointers. They're 3 of 16 from 3, total 3 of 23. They have 14 points with 3 minutes to go in the first half.
Yeah.
But Villanova only has 19. So, I mean, you might have been on something where you might have been on the right side with the 24.5. I thought you could get more. We saw it go up to 28.5.
You did. Yeah.
So I don't know. Good luck. I'm concerned about one game only. You know what game it is. It's the Black Cloud game of the night. That's the only game. That's it. Yeah.
13-5. Good little start. 9 minutes in.
Let's go Bulldogs.
6.5 it's up to. Let's go Georgia.
Oh.
They got to do it. They got to do it.
Oh, can you go for the middle? Will you take Mizzou plus 9.5? Go for that nice little middle?
No, I can't do that with a Black Cloud play. Not allowed. Not allowed.
Okay.
Once you start hedging, that takes the Black Cloud completely off. It's got to be an all or nothing. Otherwise, it's not. That dissipates the Black Cloud.
Avalanche
you got to be risking
at Vancouver.
It all.
Let's talk hockey this last 30 seconds. You like Colorado?
Yeah.
All right.
I think they're going to start turning it on here. Not that they've been playing bad, but
I like over.
And the over.
How about you?
Right.
All right. Over. This.
Yeah. With the backup goaltender, especially with Colorado. Maybe Colorado team total goals 3.5. They're going to get 4 tonight.
You want to go watch the Gauchos with me? I think I'm going to go watch UC Santa Barbara -3. Lay it.
I'll text
pick you up.
We'll do it 2024 style. We can FaceTime and text each other while the game's going on.
I'll text you from the game. See you later.
You got it.